See how similar their necks are. And of course that nose. Hulk Hogan is a disguise. Similar ears. See, look at that ear. I think it's even pointed like that one is. I really think this is a mask. This is what gives it away, his chin. Look at that chin. And the ear too. He has a little bit of a point there, which is highly unusual. Hulk posed this way intentionally. Notice how he covers his eyebrows a lot. I feel like he's trying to look like Jerry quite a bit. Jerry is alive and well. This is the true identity of Hulk Hogan. So the Hulk lives. Hey, it's Claire. How you doing? My doggy's stuff barking right here. Yes, I know, Lily. Yes, somebody's next door. I know. It's a rainy day here in Hornell, New York, and got the window open as usual here. And Lily hears something or smells something and has to say her piece. I'm here because I've been watching the internet to see if somebody I know died, but he has not. And this person is someone I met in 1994. I would say after, yes, it was definitely after the time of, I shouldn't have said that word. And it was right after I'm naming names, okay? I have begun naming names. One of my roommates' name was Sophia at the time of the M's. And she was my fellow classmate over at Columbia University at the time of the M's. She had been visiting. She had experienced her first manic episode in New York City as a law student at Columbia Law School. And she has bipolar 1, and it was her first ever episode. And, she was running down, I always think it's Lexington Avenue, but Lexington runs north and south. So it wouldn't have been Lexington. She was running to the river, the Hudson River, to swim in it. And she was running down whatever street this was. And I thought it was Lexington Avenue, but I don't think so. It would have been like something that went an avenue or a street that would go east-west. She was all naked with her fanny pack running to the river. And yeah, that was her first ever manic episode. And as the result, she was taken to the hospital. Police took her there, and she eventually came home to her family in San Diego. And I don't know who contacted who. She might have contacted me. She was down in San Diego visiting her family, and she thought she might come up to LA and see me before she went back to New York. And I'm like, yeah, sure, come on down. I was so excited. And she got to LA and was staying with me and had her second manic episode just before the M's. And I was the one that had to take her to the hospital over at UCLA. And so at the time of the M's, she was recovering. She had just come home. She was still not herself. She was on a lot of medications, and she just wasn't herself quite yet. And she was like trembly because, medications, those are the side effects of medications. Haldol. No, is that? I don't know. Anyway, it was after the M's through this whole experience of me after getting out of the hospital, she decided to stay in LA and not go back to New York. And I was thrilled because Tiffany, my other roommate, who I'm naming, was just going crazy. And I couldn't live with her anymore. She was going crazy. A long time before, Tiffany had been in a major car accident, and her sister, Sue Bachli, I'm naming her as well, had chanted and chanted for her to come out of her coma. She was left in a coma, and nobody knew if she was going to pull through. And Sue chanted in her ear, and she pulled through, and she was fine. I mean, yeah, with a little brain injury. She's got a little brain injury, and I'm sure she was different before her brain injuries, but she came through okay. And the problem is, though, when you have brain injury, you can't drink, or you lose it. I mean, you don't respond to alcohol and drugs the same way a non-injured brain does. And she started drinking and doing drugs, and it was just so out of control. It was horrible. and I was so eager for Sophia. I was thrilled. She wanted to stay in LA. I was thrilled and be my roommate because I did not like my roommate at all. And her boyfriend Derek, I'm naming him too because he's kind of a witness. He moved out to back to the Marina City Club with his father over there, and because she was just getting out of control. And that's when Tiffany started going out with Rick Sepulveda. Yeah, of that band. He was the bassist. What is it called? The King. Oh, I wasn't prepared to talk about all the witnesses today. I was just going to talk about Sophia and the Hulk. So Rick Sepulveda, he was in some kind of band. Yeah, I don't want to talk about them. That's a different video. Yeah, we'll do that later. That's a different video. Yeah, I'm not going to get into these other people. I'll make a separate video for that. I want to focus on the Hulk and Sophia. Anyway, so I was just really, really delighted that Sophia wanted to stay in LA and be my roommate. And it was after the M's that she started like dating, and she brought home one guy, didn't like him very much. She was in a different state of mind. Still, she was very vulnerable after she was still recovering from her major manic episode. And she was very much influenced by what I said, and she would ask me, do you like this guy? And I was like, I really don't. And then she brought home the Hulk. Now, I didn't know he was Hulk Hogan. I didn't have any idea. He was this big, tall, tan guy, and he didn't look like the Hulk to me at all. And I'm going to show you a photo right now. I noticed that Sophia wiped herself from the internet when I called her and left her a message about writing my book about He Did Not Do It. It had a different subtitle at that time, but it's now the title of my book is He Did Not Do It. Ron Goldman's top secret widow finally sets the record straight. Okay, and it's the second edition on Amazon. Just look it up and you can pre-order it. You can't get the first edition anymore. Sorry, it's out of print. I have some updates. Okay. Yeah, so she wiped herself. She was all over the internet. She's always been a really fine writer, and she became a playwright. And she had written some kind of play, and some kind of theater company had performed it, and she was all over the place. Of course, she's a writer. She was helping people, offering her services, her formatting services for writers, for authors. And she's an author herself. She just probably uses pseudonyms, and she was all over the place. And, she's always worked at the studios in Culver City. That's where she lives with Jerry Washam. It's Sophia and Jerry Washam. I'm going to show you a picture right now. Here it is. This is them. I'm going to click on this website. This is Jean Drescher's tennis coaching, Marina City Club. Isn't that funny? I don't think the photo we have here of them is at the Marina City Club. That's where Tiffany's, I was talking about Tiffany, her boyfriend Derek lived in the Marina City Club, and that's where she and Rick Sepulveda and oh my God, I don't want to get all into it. Used to work in room service. Let me see if I can. I wanted to. Here we go. Here he is. Look at him right here. You can understand. I did not. And oh wait, I'm not even sharing now. Right here, you can understand why I would not have thought that was Hulk Hogan, right? I mean, this is Sophia. Isn't she beautiful? This is the Hulk, right? I wouldn't have immediately thought that. This is not you can't really see all the photo is not very clear, but I have some photos here to show you, and let me bring them up one moment. All right, look at that. Okay, I kind of tried to make it a little sharper here so you can see the lines and the crevices and, kind of see how similar their necks are. And of course, that nose. He doesn't have this big a nose. And I'm really thinking that Hulk Hogan is a disguise. I mean, what do you think? Similar ears. See, look at that ear. I think it's even pointed like that one is. Oh, I do notice that the earlobe is a little bigger here. This is a little more curved. But look, it really is a similar ear. Like maybe this is added. I really think this is like a mask. But you can see how similar this is what gives it away, his chin. Look at that chin. And the ear, too. He has a little bit of a point there, which is highly unusual. I feel like Hulk posed this way intentionally. Notice how he covers his eyebrows a lot. I feel like he's trying to look like Jerry quite a bit. Jerry is alive and well, and I really do believe this is the true identity of Hulk Hogan. So the Hulk lives. The Hulk lives. I've continually checked to see if there's an obituary for Jerry. There's none. And it's interesting because he lives. He died on the morning of July 24th, right? Hulk Hogan. It was the next day after the big hearing in the Kohberger case. Remember, on July 23rd, 2025, this year, it's official. I've been classified for 50 long years. That's most of my life. You know, as a 9-year-old home alone in 1975 in Old Greenwich, Connecticut, I was classified top secret. I was mislabeled a threat to national security and made top secret. And I'm still top secret to this day. And as a result, I don't have any access to any of my fortune. You know, I have a lot of money and I don't have any access to it. Nobody knows who I am. And they like to keep it that way. I am the CIA's best kept secret and waiting for my declassification. And they did this. The people who protect me, they couldn't protect me if my parents knew who I was and what belonged to me. And they allowed Larry Shaw, who is the doctor of delusion, to mislabel me a threat to national security. So I would be classified top secret and they could protect me without my parents knowing who I was. But here I am. I'm 59 years old at this point. I still don't have a life. I have no access to what is mine, anything that is mine. And I just live a little pitiful existence. I moved to the land of my maternal lineage. I'm living in Hornell, New York, in the house that my great-grandfather built in 1900. And I'm waiting. I really thought by now everything would have been sorted out, but I do believe that the Kohberger hearing, the sentencing hearing, was my declassification hearing, or at least the beginning. I mean, I can't believe we're just beginning it. I mean, how many years have they known that I've been classified for 50 years. I mean, it's not like a surprise. It should have been done by now. Like on the day, I should have been declassified. I should have been released on the day. But obviously, there's a huge fight, government fight behind the scenes. It's a huge thing. It's a big legal thing. You know, Trump, he doesn't want me to be released because then everybody will know that I'm the true Trump. All his business deals and all his money is mine. Okay. And he was just the front guy, the little puppet. We talked into his ear and told him what to say, when to say it. He has an earpiece inside his ear, and that's how he knows what to say and what to do. And yeah, we make him look like an idiot most of the time. It's kind of amazing how few people really see him for what he is, a puppet, a clown. But this particular video is about Hulk Hogan. Yeah, there they are together over, it says Marina City Club. I think that's so funny. They aren't, I don't believe they are. It said something, if you go to the website, it says something about them being near San Diego, and that's where Sophia is from, where her family lives. So that makes more sense to me. But I just think it's so funny. It says Marina City Club. Yeah, I want to read what Brooke Hogan has to say. Brooke Hogan shares emotional tribute to Father Hulk Hogan following his death, addresses their estrangement. I want to know about their estrangement. Brooke explained their estrangement was due to respectful disagreements and private phone calls about personal issues. Okay. Yeah, I watched that. Didn't they have a reality show for a while? I did watch that for a little while. And, I really do believe that Brooke and her brother, I think that they're my children. I know Claire thinks everybody's her child. No, I'm serious. A lot of celebrities have my children. And the fact that Hulk is in my life in some way, somehow in 1994 just indicates to me that his children are probably my children. With him, I don't know. All right, let's see. Let's read this. Okay, Hulk Hogan's daughter, Brooke Hogan, has spoken out for the first time following her father's unexpected death. On July 24, the next day, after Kohberger hearing, and I don't know, I thought it was that day that I also mentioned Sophia's name. I thought it was, maybe during that live stream. I don't know. I swear I said her name, and it was like the next day he's dead. Okay, so on July 24th, the WWE icon born Terry Jean Bollea and now Jerry Washam Well, always Jerry Washam, passed away at the age of 71, and I think Jerry is the same age, by the way. After he suffered a cardiac event, being a little vague there, at his Florida home. On Tuesday, Brooke, 37, who was estranged from Hulk at the time of his death, shared an emotional tribute to her father and clarified the circumstances around their rift. My dad's blood runs through my veins. His eyes shine through my children, and our bond has never broken, not even in his final moments, Brooke began in a slideshow of written posts that she shared on Instagram. We had a connection deeper than words. I believe that. One that spanned lifetimes. She continued, I am so grateful I knew the real version of him, not just the one the world viewed through a very carefully curated lens. Yeah, I do believe that he was a persona, and maybe she knows the truth that I'm telling you. We shared a quiet, sacred bond, one that could be seen and felt by anyone who witnessed us together. When he left this earth, it felt like part of my spirit left with him. I felt it before the news even reached us. Yeah, but he didn't leave the earth, so maybe she doesn't know. He used to remind me, all of this is temporary, and I'll always find my way back to you. I truly believe that. We will find each other in every lifetime, she added. I know he's at peace now, out of pain, and in a place as beautiful as he imagined. He used to speak about this moment with such wonder and hope. Like meeting God was the greatest championship he'd ever have. Brooke went on to explain that she felt it was necessary to clear a few things up regarding her relationship with Hulk that has been portrayed in the media. We never had a big fight, she wrote. My father and I never fought. It was a series of private phone calls no one will ever hear, know, or understand. My father was confiding in me about issues weighing on his heart, both personal and business. Brooke continued, I offered to be a life raft in whatever capacity he needed. I told him he had my support. I begged him to rest, to take care of himself. He had nothing else to prove to the world or anyone. Brooke shared that she and her husband, former NHL star Stephen Oleski, moved to Florida to be closer to Hulk as he was facing health struggles. We have been through almost 25 surgeries together. Yeah, that's right. He's had everything rebuilt in his body. I was looking at a TMZ interview not so long ago after his death. We have been through almost 25 surgeries together, and then all of a sudden he didn't want me at surgeries. Everything started getting covered in a thick veil. See, he was planning his exit. It was time for him to retire the Hulk and be himself. Jerry Washam. Brooke recalled, it was like there was a force field around him that I couldn't get through. Yeah. Hulk Hogan endorses Trump for president, RNC. Let Trumpomania make America great again. I remember being so shocked about that when it happened. I'm like, Jerry, what are you doing? It's all a big show. So continuing, he was telling me these things, being so vulnerable with me, and heard my pleas. Then suddenly something shifted, and he made a choice to walk the path that clearly tore at his spirit. She continued, I felt a disconnect. See, he was already planning his exit. I'm telling you, I felt a disconnect. What followed were respectful disagreements that took an emotional toll on me. Look at that. That is such a cute photo. Oh, that is so cute. During the last 2 years, I had to step away to protect my heart. That's sad, but I understand. However, Brooke shared that Oleski had maintained contact with Hulk in an effort to repair the relationship between his wife and her father. She explained that Oleski had been quietly reaching out to my dad, this is her speaking, without me knowing, trying to find a safe way back in for me. After my father passed, I read those messages, some answered, some ignored. All of them broke my heart. I know in my heart I did everything I could, Brooke wrote. He knew I would run through a burning building for him, and in many ways along the path of life I did. He knows how deeply, how hard, and how purely I loved him. I'm at peace knowing this. All I ever truly wanted from my father was love, honesty, and a deep connection, she added, and for a few special years I had that, with memories that will last a lifetime. My world is forever changed, but I'm deeply blessed with a loving husband and 2 beautiful children who remind me every day of life's greatest gift. Brooke concluded, and those are their kids, I guess. Are they twins? See, twins run in my family. I'm telling you, she was implanted with my twins. And, my daughters, they can't conceive naturally. So they're always implanted. So, yeah, they had multiples. Yes. See, I'm telling you. Brooke and Oleski, who married in 2022, announced in January 2025 that they had welcomed fraternal twins. Here we go. Son Oliver Andrew. Oh, nice name. And daughter Molly Jean. Oh, cute. The latter of whom shares a middle name with Hulk. Yes, that is so cute. Hulk shared Brooke and son Nick, 35, her younger brother. I think that's her younger brother. I don't know how old she is. Right, she shared Brooke and son Nick, 35, with his ex-wife Linda Hogan. I remember they had a reality show, didn't they? And I watched a little of it back in the day. The wrestling star and Linda tied the knot in 1983, but separated in 2007 and finalized their divorce in 2009. The family's life together was documented in the documented in the reality show Hogan Knows Best, which ran for 4 seasons from 2005 to 2007 on VH1. After Hogan Knows Best was canceled, Brooke starred in the reality spinoff Brooke Knows Best for 2 seasons from 2008 to 2009. That's cute. Rumors of a rift between Brooke and Hulk first sparked in September 2023 after she did not attend her father's wedding when he married his third wife, Sky Daly. Yeah. It's uncomfortable when your father marries another woman who has a very big shift. It is. I know from personal experience. Brooke is also estranged from Linda, her mother. Wow. In March, Linda claimed she hadn't seen Brooke in over 8 years. Hey, it sounds like my family. They haven't seen me forever due to Hulk's behavior. Oh, I don't understand that. Brooke doesn't talk to us, she says. This is Linda speaking, I guess. She had twins, she got married, and she didn't tell us. Oh, well. After Linda blamed Hulk for the family's rift, Brooke fired back on Instagram and explained that she didn't speak to her mother or father for separate reasons. So it says, each individual on their own has given me more than enough reasons over the years to make this extremely hard and painful decision to end contact. Brooke wrote, in part, in a lengthy statement that she shared on Instagram at the time, as much as I not only understand and have empathy for their own struggles, I absolutely love them with every fiber of my being, which deep down I think they know. My heart hurts every day, and not a day passes it does not affect me. Inside of me, there's a little girl who desperately wants and needs her mom and dad. Wow, just looking at these sponsored stories. What? Caitlyn Jenner is gay now? I guess that figures that she was once a man. He's with Sophia Hutchins? What the hell? Oh my goodness. Okay. I relate to Brooke. I had to leave my family too, but I certainly am not as kind in my words when it comes to my family. Let's give Nick some time here. Let me change it up here. This is his son, Nick, and Nick Hogan makes WWE appearance to pay tribute to his late father and best friend, Hulk Hogan. The WWE, is that how you say it? WWE legend died last Thursday at the age of 71. This was published just a couple days ago. Today's the 31st. Oh, somebody's birthday. Happy birthday, Nancy. Need to know. Nick Hogan appeared center stage for a WWE tribute to his father, Hulk Hogan, on Monday, July 28th. WWE made several tributes to the late professional wrestling star, including on its Monday Night Raw program. The WWE legend died last Thursday at the age of 71. It was a week ago today. Is that right? Am I right? Was it a week ago? Yeah, I think so. Today's Thursday. Nick Hogan appeared on stage at the top of WWE's Monday Night Raw program and stood side by side with the show's wrestling co-star roster as they paid tribute to his late father, Hulk Hogan. I apologize, but I probably need reading glasses, and sometimes I read things wrong because I can't see as clearly as I once did when I was younger. I used to be able to read the smallest print so clearly. I used to amaze everybody. No more. I am 59 years old and I sometimes can't. I mean, I can see really well and read fine, but I know I probably could use some reading glasses. I could probably see more clearly. Forgive me if I read things wrong at first glance. Nick, 35, appeared to wipe away tears at certain points during the tribute on Monday, July 28, and clapped along with fans who appeared to give the moment an overwhelmingly positive applause. Hogan, whose real name was Terry, I want to say Jerry because that's his real name, Balia, died last Thursday at the age of 71, and Jerry is the same age. Ladies and gentlemen, we lost one of the biggest and most globally recognized icons in the world, a man I grew up watching. I guess this is his son speaking. Nick? Okay. A man I grew up watching, was fortunate enough to share the ring with, and like so many of us, were honored to call a friend. Oh no, that wasn't his son. WWE's chief content officer, Paul Triple H Levesque, said in a rehashed and slightly edited pre-recording of a speech he initially gave at the top of the WWE SmackDown on Friday night. Levesque, 56, was not on stage with the rest of the WWE roster, many of whom stood with their hands folded and heads down as the company paid tribute to the controversial pro wrestling star. Nick stood at the center of the group alongside his wife, Tana Leah, who held his arm and wiped away her own tears throughout the tribute. There they are, Hulk and Nick. The truth is, he captivated millions of people and inspired them around the globe. The recording of Levesque's speech said, "We would not be standing here right now, all of us together, if it was not for him." The arena then shared a moment of silence as the WWE gave Hogan a 10-bell salute, a long-held tradition in professional wrestling to pay tribute to a late performer. Hogan died last Thursday, July 24, after first responders were called to his home in Clearwater, Florida. By the way, Clearwater, I selected that to be the headquarters, or at least one of the headquarters. I guess the headquarters of the Sea Org in Scientology. I wonder if that has anything to do with Hulk Hogan living there. Okay, so the first responders were called to his home in Clearwater, Florida for a cardiac arrest incident. Notice how it's pretty vague. Jimmy Hart, a close friend and longtime on-screen manager for Hogan, told people on Friday that he heard Hogan was doing great in the days leading up to his death, but that his health seemed to take a turn overnight. Yeah, of course, because that was his out. I really do think he planned this. This is what everyone does, you know. Prince planned his death. I know that Michael Jackson didn't, well, he did want to die, and it was like a spontaneous decision for him to die. I'm not saying Michael Jackson had another persona, and I'm not saying Prince did either, actually, although it's very possible he had other personas because Prince is from Vega. But when you are from Vega, or if you are a person who is connected to Vega, a lot of people in the CIA are, and you know, not everybody in the CIA is all bad. CIA is only able to achieve all that they do thanks to Vega. The technology in Vega is far superior and far more advanced than anything we can imagine here on Earth. And that's why it's all top secret, because nobody is supposed to know about it. And we're going to release all that information. It's all going to come out. And this is the hesitation of our government. I mean, they're no longer going to be able to fool us, and people are no longer going to look so smart and great because they all had help from Vega and they cheated. It's a whole culture of people who have been fooling us for eternity, and everybody keeps the secret. And, you know, there's like a separation. It's kind of like Harry Potter, maybe, you know, it's us and them. But a lot of the people involved are Earthlings. They're not from Vega. They're just people who are related to me that my people have involved in this big scheme to expose the truth. That's the purpose. So we can open up the can of worms and everybody can see the truth. And you can understand why a lot of people do not want me declassified, because first of all, their paychecks end, right? My money pays them every, I don't know how often or how much, but they get paid a lot of money from my money. Just, you know, my money pays all of my relatives, everybody except for me. And so free paychecks are ending. All the people who took credit for all my work, they're going to be exposed. They're not the songwriters that everybody thought. You know, Lennon and McCartney, they were not a songwriting team at all. They were just performers, great performers. The Beatles performed those songs so well. We could never have performed them the way that they did. And yeah, it was hard to get that kind of performance out of them. Daddy had to do a lot to get those young guys to pipe down and do what they were supposed to do. And when they finally did what they were supposed to do, I mean, they created magic. And, you know, that has a lot to do with Daddy. But they were the performers. He couldn't have worked with other people that didn't have the ability to do what they did. And so everybody, I mean, the Eagles, all of them, they're brilliant. I don't know why they don't want people to know they didn't write their own songs. songs. You can't be everything. All right. It's okay that somebody else wrote your song. But yeah, you had to lie about it. I guess you had an ego and you didn't want to admit that somebody else wrote your song. And yeah, it'll look really bad when everybody finds out that it was an 8-year-old girl that wrote your songs. But I deserve the credit, okay? This 8-year-old girl, the dragon girl from the Lotus Sutra. That's who I am. I deserve the credit, okay? I'm the dragon girl. I know you don't understand. Pick up the Lotus Sutra, translated by Bryan Watson. It's a great translation of the Lotus Sutra. And check out my Buddhism is the Truth channel. My handle is Buddhism is the Truth here on YouTube for more information about Buddhism. And feel free to send me questions if you have any. Buddhism is the Truth questions at gmail.com. Okay, right here it is. He was doing great leading up to his death, but his health seemed to take a turn overnight. Yeah, it just hit so fast, Hart said. It was like, oh my God, we thought he was doing so well, Yeah, that's when he exits, right? That's when you exit, like they're not expecting it. They're looking the other way. That's when you make a run for it, right? And when you're in an alternate persona, like Hulk was, he's got to exit, and he loves his family. He loves his children, loves his wife. And I hope that everything goes well with that estate and that everything is distributed fairly. I'm sure he set it up preparing for his death so that it would be. And he's watching all of you. His wife should know, his widow should know. He's watching. He's watching your behavior and seeing what you're doing. Hulk Hogan, he lives. Hogan's son, Nick, I'm continuing, who appeared alongside his father on their family reality show, Hogan Knows Best, said on social media that his father was his best friend. That's sweet. And there they are right there. He was not only the best dad, but also my mentor and my best friend. He always has been my best friend, and I love him and miss him more than I could ever explain, Nick wrote in the emotional memorial for his father. I thanked him for everything he has ever done for me and told him how much I loved him and hugged him every chance I got. That's so sweet. I spent a lot of time with him the past few years, and he made sure he spent a lot of time with him, and he made sure that him and Brooke bonded and had their moments too. He probably had to cut off from Brooke to be able to leave. That's probably why they had that falling out, because he had to distance himself from her to be able to leave his life and go on to become who he really is, Jerry Washam, in Culver City, California. So Nick says, he was not only the best dad, but also my mentor and my best friend. He always has been my best friend, and I love him and miss him more than I could ever explain. Okay, I already read that. Right. So he was always thanking him every chance he got and hugging him. I spent a lot of time with him the past few years after moving back to Florida to be closer to him, and I am so grateful for those memories. They are the best memories in my life. Wow. See, Jerry planned that. He planned that. He wanted to make sure he was good with both his children. I know with Brooke, it was a falling out, but I don't think he could have left you otherwise. He had to break it off with you to be able to leave his life. If you were in his life, he would be too attached and he wouldn't be able to move on. And he prepared for years ahead. I don't know. I guess they had a falling out in 2023. He had to prepare 2 years ahead of time to do this. And I'm really sorry for your loss. And I'm really sorry that it had to be this way, but he does still live. I really hope he wants to reunite with his kids. And when they find out he still lives, I don't know if this will ever become news, what I'm talking about. I really don't. Everything I talk about, people don't really give me the time of day about. So all I can do is just tell my story, share my opinion, share my experience. That's all I can do. But I can't help but think that he thinks this is part of the media event that he's doing to reveal the truth about what goes on so that he can help people understand what has been going on for a long time. And who better to teach us, right, than Hulk Hogan? He's like such a part of our culture in every way. And of course, he's a Trumper. I was so disappointed when I saw him at Trump's event. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I don't know, but it's all part of the event. It's all part of helping everyone wake up and reach. We're trying to pull everybody up and wake them up so they reach enlightenment. I have a group, I always talk about founding the Department of Empowerment on May 3rd, 2001 in Aliso Viejo, California, on the campus of Soka University of America. My nickname is America, and President Ikeda, my genetic father, never stepped set foot on the campus that he built and honored me by saying it was of America. It was, I guess, for me, but I was there from the very beginning. I remember going to the house when the house they built for him that he never ever visited. And I remember like sitting on the lawn and they were building the interior of the house. And I remember, I don't know what I was doing back there. I was probably reading or something, or I don't know. And I remember there were ants on the lawn and they bit me. And I got all these ant bites from sitting in the backyard of the house they built for Ikeda Sensei. You know, at the time, he was not called Ikeda Sensei quite yet. He was President Ikeda at that time. When he got up in years, he insisted people call him Ikeda Sensei because he was stepping aside from me because I'm the other SGI president, but not that anybody knows that at this point because I'm still top secret. I don't know why I went into that, but everybody needs to wake up. The world is a stage, literally, and our government, well, Vega is heaven, okay? It's not actually a spiritual dimension any more than Earth is. It's just a better place because they have super advanced technology. They can live inside the sun. I don't believe Hulk Hogan actually died, okay? I believe he just killed off his alternate persona, Hulk Hogan, who has been in everybody's life for a long time and has done a lot of service to humankind, right? And it was time to retire him and be who he really is, Jerry Washam. Jerry Washam. You know, I got these two together. Sophia, she was liking the other guy she was going out with. And I'm like, no, I don't like him. I like this guy, Jerry. And I didn't know he was Hulk Hogan. I had no idea. He's not pretentious at all. He's not Hulk Hogan. No. See, that's a persona. It's a character. It's not who he really is. And he's just a simple, down-to-earth guy. Very, very sweet guy. And I was so grateful that he was such a gentleman to Sophia because Sophia, I was really worried about Sophia back in 1994, you know. I was really worried. I mean, I know she was involved in my ABUSE that Jerry had nothing to do with. He was just coming to the house to pick her up. We lived in the marina on Washington Boulevard, 647 Washington Boulevard to be exact. And he would show up at the door like a gentleman to pick her up for her date. They kept going out and then they got married. I think it was in 96. They got married in Fiji. Anyway, David was concerned about Sophia too. David being the true of my brand new husband, Ron Goldman. Sophia was the one, well, everybody knew, but everybody was playing it cool with David. But Sophia, she was not quite herself yet. And she was so very bold. She believed that David was the real and because she was there when David and his partner in crime, Mike Lafferman, showed up to our house, and I was unconscious, laying naked on the couch after Ron had left to go to work in Brentwood, and she told him that Nicole had been there and I had been AR'd, and they wanted to know what restaurant Ron worked at, and she didn't know the name of the restaurant. And, you know, I remember all of this for myself. I was supposedly unconscious, so she probably didn't think I would ever remember, but he told her to go ahead and have her way with me, and she did. And it was really shocking to me because she was like my best friend. I always considered her to be my best friend, and I was really surprised that she did that. I thought she was more ethical than that, but I do understand that she wasn't quite herself, and she was vulnerable to suggestion in her state of mind, and maybe it wouldn't have ever happened any other way. So I understand, Sophia, I understand, but I'm just so grateful to Jerry because I was so worried about Sophia. I was telling her, I was trying to convince her that she was wrong and that it was her manic state that was making her think that David was the real. Sorry, I shouldn't say that word. I was so protective of her. I convinced myself that I didn't even know Ron, and that's how I dealt with the trauma, and I was trying to protect her. I didn't want David to do anything to her, and it was subconscious, mostly subconscious, but a little of it was conscious. We were watching OJ on TV, that slow chase in the Bronco on TV, and David was there to pick me up for our date, and he watched with us, together with us, and that's when Sophia confronted him and told him that she thought he had done it. And I'm like, no, Sophia, no, you're still manic. You're wrong. And I was so worried. And David was realizing that he had to take control of Sophia. And this is why after that, there was something that went on between him and Sophia. And I was Deed, and there was like it wasn't a threesome. It was just Dee and Claire. So Sophia could have him all to herself. And I'm sure it was confusing for her as she was healing and getting better. And Jerry is very light also. Both David and Jerry are blonde and blue-eyed. And I'm sure in her state of mind after that manic episode, it was confusing for her and they were blended together. I'm kind of thinking, you understand, Sophia, she came from a really difficult background. She was the valedictorian of her class in San Diego, but she lived in the ghetto. And she was like this very special girl that people noticed and took under their wing, and she was their pride and joy, and that's how she got into Columbia. I mean, she was the valedictorian of her class. She has like the opposite life that I had, and I've always just loved her so much. We became friends when I was working in the perception lab of Julian Hulkenberg. I don't even know if he's still around. He was last time I checked. It was a work-study job that I had, and I decided to leave to start working in the library because I could make more money in the library. And Sophia was the student they selected, the grad student who supervised us. Her name was Patty DeLucia. She was selected to replace me. I had to train her to replace me, and I trained her, and we just became really good friends. And then when it was time for me to leave, Sophia left with me. She didn't want to continue working there either. She was from Columbia College. She went straight from high school to college, and I was in the School of General Studies. This was my issue with Columbia University. I went to the same classes we didn't take the same classes, Sophia and me, but I went to the same classes as students at Columbia College, the same exact classes, but I had the label School of General Studies, and that really bothered me. And I thought, well, if I'm going to work so hard, I made the dean's list 2 semesters in a row. If I'm going to work so hard, I don't want my achievement to be diminished by this School of General Studies. So I'm doing the same work as these Columbia College and Barnard College. We all took the same classes. And Vanessa Shaw went to Barnard at a later time. And I'm like, I'm going to California. UC Berkeley was my plan to go to the community colleges in California because it's tuition exemption for people who are low income, and I could go there for free, and then I could transfer to UC Berkeley and get a degree, and it would be respected because it wouldn't have the School of General Studies on it. That was my plan. But when I got to California, of course, I couldn't even afford the books, and defaulted on my student loan because my father wouldn't pay it. And I didn't stay in school. You don't have to pay it if you stay in school, but I couldn't afford books, and I had some financial. It's just a long story. My plan did not go according to plan, and I never got my degree. But Sophia, she continued. She got her degree at Columbia College, at Columbia University, and then she was accepted into Columbia Law School. And it was her first year at Columbia Law School when her first manic episode happened in 1994. I left Columbia in 89, and I started in 87. I met her over the summer of 87. Yeah, so if you think of 4 years, that's when she graduated, and then when she started Columbia Law School. Anyway, I'm just so happy that Sophia is so well and happy with Jerry. This picture was taken in 2015, according to the article there, near San Diego. I guess it was some kind of outing that they all went together on. I just have always been in awe of Sophia. I just think she's amazing. And I'm just so sad that this has destroyed our friendship to the point where when I called her last year, she pretended that I had the wrong number. And many years ago, I called her and she picked up and she called me the devil. She was probably having a manic episode. She was screaming and yelling and calling me the devil and hung up on me. So yeah, the devil was in our experience together. And I'm really sad that it had to destroy our friendship because she was like my best friend. And I always lose my best friends. I don't have any friends anymore. She was one of the best friends I had, and I know I probably wasn't her best friend, but I know I was a good friend. She's probably got plenty of others. I don't have any. So I lament the loss a little more than she does. My life has been destroyed. I don't have anybody in my life anymore. I don't have a family or anything in my life. My whole life has been destroyed. And I guess that was the plan. I guess that was the CIA's plan. But somehow I have survived. Somehow I have kept my hope alive to be here. Talk to all of you somehow, some way. I don't give up, I guess. You can't give up on the truth. I just am sad that she just wants to forget about this. I know Jerry would understand the situation with David. She was in a vulnerable mind state when they were first dating. I mean, I don't think that Jerry would have an issue with that. I think he knew Sophia. He was informed. I was informed by the FBI who was at my house that Jerry was Hulk Hogan. I just had a hard time believing it because he was such a gentle man. Just totally opposite of Hulk Hogan. He was just a really quiet, down to earth, simple guy. No nonsense, just down to earth. I really like people like that. I was just so grateful that he treated Sophia with such respect. And that's why I liked him, Sophia. The other guy was this young guy, overdressed guy. He was African American, but I don't know, he was just very uncomfortable around me and he just didn't sit well with me. But Jerry just was a gentleman. And I'm just so happy that she listened to me. And they ended up getting married just a couple years later. And like I said, and since they started dating, he lived in a really nice condo over there in Culver City. And she was already like temping with all the studios back then. And now she's some kind of senior executive assistant or something. I mean, that's what she's done with her degrees. And she's really good at it. I know she is. And she probably makes good money over there. She's had a really good life. Jerry has stood by her and has been her rock. When you're bipolar like she is, you need that. I'm just so grateful that at least she got that. I didn't, but she did. I'm really grateful. Anyway, I'm just surprised that Sophia hasn't. She's a writer like I am, but I'm just really surprised she hasn't written her own book about what happened. I just want all the witnesses, the secret witnesses, to know that David is no longer a threat to your life. Okay? They were all really scared that David was going to come after them. And this is why they hid it from the police and everything. They were scared of David. And I just want Sophia to know that David is behind bars for the rest of his life. Just like Hulk Hogan was a disguise, Bryan Kohberger was one of David's disguises, okay? And Bryan Kohberger got in a video I said 4 life sentences, plus, $50,000 each victim, and plus the burglary, and that's like, I don't know, 5,000 or something. Anyway, he's in prison for the rest of his life. So you do not have to worry about him coming after you. Yeah, there's Michael, but Michael, I don't know. It's hard to know where he is anymore. He's all over the place. Last time I heard, he got stuck in Israel and he had a GoFundMe and he was trying to get people to donate money so he could come back to the United States. And he was forced to, I don't know what he was doing. He was doing something like, I forget what it was. It was some weird little job that he was forced to do so he could get food or something. I don't know if it was a dishwasher. Anyway, I just want everyone to know that David is gone. He's put away for life. So you don't have to worry. He's not going to come after you. You can speak out. You can write your book. And Sophia, I know you have a book in you. I understand that a lot of stuff is embarrassing, but I can take it. It's okay. I know. One of the ways that I defended my body, it was like a subconscious thing. The way I kept people away from my body. When I wasn't going to be intimate with someone, I didn't shower. Okay? I was used to doing that to prevent people from R-ing me. I know, it's embarrassing, but I mean, what are you supposed to do when people are just always D'ing you against your will without your knowledge or consent? I didn't know when it was happening necessarily. I didn't remember right away. So to defend myself, I just knew to do that. So unless I was going to be intimate with my boyfriend, I did that to keep people away from me. And I know, Sophia, I remember all of it. It's embarrassing, but I have no shame. I'm Madonna, remember? I have no shame. So please feel free to write your truth. I am curious to know your perspective, and I think that it would be very interesting for everyone. And I guess that's really it. I guess that's all I really want to say. I'm just really grateful to Jerry for being a good husband. And wow, he killed off Hulk Hogan to just be Jerry Washam, Sophia Washam's husband. Wow, that's kind of an honor, Sophia. Thank you, Jerry. And thank you for giving me a great video topic. I hope somebody watches it. Couldn't help but think that you were trying to help me in my promotional campaign. I'm trying to get somebody's attention somewhere. Thank you, Jerry. All right, I guess that's all I have for you today. I mean, I have more, you know, I always do, but that's it. I just put together a private podcast. I haven't done my first episode yet, but it's over on Hero. I guess it's app.hero.fm. The show is called Claire's Weekly Musings. So go check it out. I don't know when I'm going to record an episode, probably in the next day or so. That'll be my first episode. And it'll just be me going over what I'm thinking about and what I think about what's going on in the world in general. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm thinking it might be interesting and it'll be a different format, which some people prefer, audio. And I think I could enjoy it. So I don't know how long they're going to be. I'll try not to be too long. Anyway, check it out. Okay. All right. Over now. Peace out.